Yeah, I was.
All right, what's the date? February 12th. Triple R meeting is now open. Sarah, please take the roll.
Senator Champion.
His staff is here and he will be on in just a moment. He's logging on. Thank you.
Senator Farnsworth.
Here.
Senator Hochschild. Senator Heisman.
Here.
Representative Davis.
Here.
Representative Weigel.
Present.
Representative Scrabble.
Present.
Representative Warboss.
Here.
Circle back. Is Senator Champion on yet?
Not yet.
Okay. We have 6 present, 1 excused. Or 2 excused for now.
Right, we have a motion to approve the December meeting minutes. But should have received that. I was on that. You were on. So moved. Moved by Representative Scaraba. Sarah, please take the roll.
Senator Champion. Senator Farnsworth.
Yes.
Senator Hochschild. Senator Heisman.
Yes.
Representative Davis.
Aye.
Representative Weigel. Representative Weigel. Representative Scrabble.
Yes.
Representative Horwath.
Yes.
Senator Champion. Representative Weigel. So we have 5 yeses, 2 excused. 3 excused.
Right, thank you, Sarah, and now on to item number 4, Commissioner's comments.
Thank you, Chair Farnsworth. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the first meeting of calendar year 2026. As always, thank you all for your continued service on the IRRB board. Before we review today's proposed investments, I want to acknowledge the continued challenge facing our mining industry and workers, families, and communities who depend on it. 2025 was a particularly difficult year across the Iron Range. And obviously in 2026, that kind of bad news continued with additional layoffs mentioned. So with those reductions, around the total number of workers impacted across the region is more than 650. While some workers have found new opportunities, many are still waiting to be called back. And that uncertainty continues to weigh heavily on families and our communities. I know our agency and the board remain committed to working with partners to support these workers and identified new opportunities to grow jobs in our region. Next, I'm going to share a brief update about our agency programs. In December, the agency completed final program reports. These reports highlight fiscal year 2025 investments and the impact those dollars are making in communities throughout the Taconite Assistance area. In addition to those final reports, last week staff spent a full day reviewing our grant and loan programs, and I appreciate the continued dedication that they bring to this work. Those efforts that help ensure that our programs remain responsive, effective, and aligned with community priorities. Building on those program efforts, I'd like to highlight a new housing initiative. Our agency, in partnership with the Arrowhead Economic Opportunity Agency, known as AEOA, announced and provided funding for the launch of a new rental rehabilitation pilot program administered by AEOA, and that addresses rental housing needs in the Quad Cities area of Virginia, Evelyn, Mount Iron, and Gilbert. That new program provides matching funds to property owners to rehabilitate aging units and create safe long-term workforce housing for individuals and families. Through our partnership with AEOA, these investments are improving living conditions while also supporting local contractors and community stability. AEOA continues to be an outstanding partner with their agency, working in other programs such as the Business Energy Retrofit and Downtown Building Rehabilitation programs, which are also administered by AEOA and funded by our agency through the taxes paid by Minnesota's mining tax or mining industry. One personnel update. We have new staff I'd like to recognize. Taylor Baczynski joined the agency December 17th, she's there, and as their newest office and administrative specialist. In this position, she'll support business and community development teams. With that, I'll turn to today's agenda and investments before the board today. This afternoon, we will be reviewing approximately $8 million in proposed investments and projects that will help advance future mining technologies, expand higher education and workforce training opportunities in manufacturing and welding, and support both housing and commercial development in our communities. These projects reflect our continued commitment to strengthening the regional economy and creating opportunities across the taconite assistance area. And I'd also like to briefly call attention to a request before the board today involving the Natural Resources Research Institute, or NRI. It is a state-chartered applied research institute of the University of Minnesota, established by the Minnesota legislature in 1983 to inform sound long-term decisions on the use and stewardship of natural resources while supporting private sector job creation. Our agency was an early advocate, recognizing the long-term value this research will bring to the Iron Range. With their 2 locations in Duluth and Coleraine, NRI's applied science and engineering research continues to benefit industry, communities, and workforce opportunities throughout the region. In fact, in the early 1980s, in that report that encouraged the establishment of the NRI, we were facing a very similar downturn, or maybe even greater at that time, in the mining industry. And the rationalization for the creation of the NRI was to look for new innovative uses of our iron resources, but also to look at responsible ways to develop and diversify our mining portfolio. So I find it fitting today, as we're faced with 2 out of 6 taconite mines idled or partially idled, that we look at this new research opportunity as a way to fulfill the original intent of the NRI to look at additional ways our mineral resources can be used. As outlined in today's packet, the NRI is seeking support tied to a significant federal funding opportunity that would position Minnesota as a designated proving ground for advanced mining and mineral processing technologies. This opportunity could leverage substantial federal investment, expand research capacity, and create good-paying technical and professional jobs while focusing on the unique materials and minerals that exist here in northern Minnesota. This request is about strengthening our long-term economic competitiveness and leadership in responsible resource development. There is no better place than the Iron Range to lead this effort. That wraps up my remarks, and I want to thank each of you for being here today.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. We will just move on to number 5 on the agenda, resolution number 26-014. Whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the board. Today before you is a technical correction to a prior resolution. The purpose is a resolution that was previously adopted on May 29th, 2025 IRRR board meeting needs a technical correction. The correction is not related to IRRR funding amounts, rather it pertains to content within the original resolution. The original resolution 25-23 was adopted approving $5 million from the Iron Range School and Community Development account to Cook County Independent School District 166. The reason for the technical correction is following the board meeting, the school district changed the referendum questions and amounts to adapt to the evolving project scope and budget. At the November 2025 election, a referendum was approved by the voters totaling $6,650,000. The referendum eliminated the bus garage and scaled back the parking lot improvements. These changes reduced the total project cost from just over 38 million to just under 36 million. The corrected resolution, Exhibit A of Resolution 25-23 will be corrected by omitting reference to the bus garage, changing the line items in the budget table, resulting in a new total project investment of $35,825,000. The agency's investment of $5 million will not change. Chris Lindholm, Superintendent with Cook County Schools, is available virtually if there are any questions, and I would be happy to help also.
All right, are there questions? Nobody online?
I got a question. Does the graphic of the Minnesota Vikings on there, is that the mean we're supporting the Vikings?
That's
If we vote for this, that's their school. Is that their school? Yes.
Is the graphic gonna be where?
Yeah. Am I showing support for the Minnesota Vikings if I vote for this resolution? Just checking in.
No, no, no.
The Minnesota Vikings copied the Cook Company.
Okay, good to know.
Right, we've got the important stuff out of the way. With that, oh yeah, we need somebody to move it. Representative Scrabble moves resolution 26-014. Representative Davis seconds. Sarah, please do. Well,
Senator Champion.
Aye.
Senator Farnsworth.
yes.
Senator Hofstrath. Senator Heinzen.
Aye.
Representative Davis.
Aye.
Representative Idle.
I go aye.
Aye.
Representative Sproul.
Aye.
Representative Warlock.
Aye.
That's 7 yeses, 1 excused.
With that, resolution 26-014 passes. Next, we present resolution number 26-015. Mr. Mel, you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. The next item on the agenda today is a scope amendment to resolution 26-008. At the December 4th, 2025 IRRR board meeting, the resolution was adopted supporting a $1,298,100 participation loan. This resolution will be amended by designating Furin and Shea Welding and Fabricating Inc. as the applicant, allowing Furin and Shea Welding and Fabricating Inc. to purchase equipment, and omitting the mention of Sturgeon River properties. Mr. Chair, members of the board, this amendment doesn't change the overall project amount or amount of funding from the agency. It's more administrative in nature, wanting to make sure that we correctly reflect the use of the proceeds and the who the applicant is. With that, I'll take any questions.
Are there any questions, Representative Morris?
I'll move to that.
Oh, all right. Before we get to that, are there any questions or comments? All right, Representative Warwitz moves our resolution 26-015. And since it's chair's rules, we don't need a second unless somebody really wants to second. So, Sarah. please
I'll
take the roll.
second, Mr. Chair.
All right. The representative from Florida seconds. Zing.
I've been outed.
Senator Champion. Senator Farnsworth.
Yes.
Senator Hofstrath. Senator Heitzman.
Yes.
Representative Davis.
Aye.
Representative Idle.
I go aye.
Representative Sproul.
Aye.
Representative Warboss.
Aye.
Senator Champion.
Aye. It just took me a minute to get to my unmute button. So sorry about
Yeah.
that. Aye.
That's 7 yeses, 1 excused.
All right, with that, resolution 26-015 passes. Next to present resolution 26-016 is Ms. Ridlock again, whenever you're ready.
Oh. There we go.
All right, Chair, members of the board. Today before you is a project from the Iron Range Schools and Community Development account. The purpose of this account is to provide disbursements to assist school districts with the payment of bonds that were issued for qualified school projects or for any other school disbursement as approved by the Commissioner of Iron Range Resources and Rehabilitation after consultation with the board. Please note, this project was previously reviewed at the May 29th, 2025 IRRR board meeting. The district was approved to receive $5 million in funding contingent upon meeting specific milestones. Those milestones were not met. The district has revised the project scope and milestones and are requesting consideration to receive funding. The agency is recommending $5 million to Aiken Independent School District for infrastructure and site development related to the construction of a new pre-K through 6 elementary school situated on 220-acre property, which has been annexed by the city of Aiken. On November 24th, 2025, the voters considered a referendum with the following 2 questions. Question 1, construction and equipping of a new pre-K through 6 elementary and transportation center. Question 2, the construction and equipping of a new community wellness center attached to the new elementary. The referendum failed by 211 votes. In response, the district reduced the project scope and cost. The new pre-K through 6 elementary school building was reduced from 94,000 square feet to 83,000 square feet. This was done by using hallways for collaborative learning spaces, improving cafeteria and gym space efficiency, creating shared use spaces, and reducing HVAC costs. The transportation center was reduced to house only active route buses. The community wellness center space was reduced to an auxiliary gym. On April 14th, 2026, voters will consider a new referendum with the following 3 questions. Question 1, construction and equipping of a new pre-K through 6 elementary. Question 2, construction and equipping of a transportation center. And question 3, construction and equipping of an auxiliary gym at the new pre-K through 6 elementary school. The majority of the existing elementary school building in Aiken, Rippleside Elementary, is more than 60 years old and does not meet the Minnesota Department of Education standards. The building has significant health and safety issues, including poor indoor air quality, water intrusion, asbestos-containing materials, and inadequate security. A new pre-K through 6 facility is necessary to meet current educational safety and health standards. The new site will allow for long-term flexibility with future considerations of consolidation of district facilities on the site. Recent improvements to the current high school allow it to remain in use. The following milestones must be met to receive funding from the Iron Range School and Community Development account for this project. Approval by the commissioner following consultation with the board. Project approval by the Minnesota Department of Education. Voter approval of referendum question 1 at the April 14th, 2026 election. Submission of a final project budget and timeline after the referendum is approved. If those 4 milestones are met, the contract would move forward and construction can begin in 2027 and be completed, anticipated completion by August of 2028. Dan Sifter, Aiken County School Aiken Public Schools Superintendent is here for brief comments and to answer any questions.
I appreciate the opportunity to come back. As is noted in our packet and presentation, we were within 211 votes in November. We went back and listened to the community and did some surveying, and one of the big hurdles was the cost. So we took a look and were able to reduce some square footage. We reduced the size of the bus garage, so we still have adequate space to house all our current buses that are on our current routes. We maintain a storage area for our extra buses that we currently have. And then we broke the questions down, and by doing that, we're able to reduce the cost about 33%. The payment, a monthly payment for somebody would be about 33% less than what it was in the initial request. So we're back, we're asking, we're running the election in April. See if we'd still have the $5 million, this would be help cover part of the infrastructure out to the land that has been annexed into the city. With our goal being that once the school is there, we would have the infrastructure that far, and that would spur housing and the opportunity for some housing growth on our new site or our new land, as well as give the city, give the county the opportunity to redevelop where our elementary currently is, with the land that's located there, also within the city limits. So they stand for any questions, and nobody's going to claim the gobbler mascot, so I think we have to about that.
Right, are there any questions or comments? Representative Scralla.
Yeah, it didn't pass last time. Is the palette of property owners down there? Are they just at a point where it's like, no more, or? That was too much, can you guys bring it in a little better and then we'll listen?
It's more of the latter, I think it was, or the second part, sharpen your pencil a little bit and let's see if we can do it better. And some of the things, we combined, one of the spaces we reduced is a dedicated lunchroom. We went to more of a commons area, which is fairly common. Space can double up not only as a lunch area, but a gathering area for events or for students. So remove some of the HVAC systems on top of the building to reduce the square footage and the footprint of it. So, but yeah, I think it was more, I think there's a belief that majority of the elementary building, well, part of it is 70 years old, and the rest of another main chunk of it is 60 years old. Even remodeling, we're trying to remodel some of the building that just leaves us some challenges. So I think the long answer to a short question was that people just wanted, I think they want us to sharpen the pencil a little bit and see if we can come back with a more cost-effective plan.
Good, well, I hope it passes for you guys.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments? Okay, I just want to make a quick comment about this. And you mentioned the age of the school that you'd be replacing is 60 to 70 years old. And one of the things that I've heard from people in the community when talking about, and not specific to Aiken, but just in general, is, well, that school was good enough for me. And it probably was. And it was probably a new school when you were there. 40 or 50 years ago. I mean, I went to the Von Steffensrud in Chisholm 38 years ago. It was still kind of new. It was only about 25 years old back then. But these schools age, and our kids deserve new buildings, just like we had newer buildings. Now, the Hibbing High School is a little different, and we'll never ask to replace that. But I think a situation like this, our kids deserve new buildings like a lot of our population had. So happy to support this, and yeah, I think it's a good project, and I'm glad you were able to sharpen the pencils to hopefully make it more palatable to the voters. So with that, Sarah, please take the roll.
How about if you move it?
Oh, yeah. No, I think we'll have, is Representative Igo back on? This is also his district.
I'm here, Mr. Chair.
We'll have Representative Igo move. What are we on? 26-016.
Senator
I'll
Chad.
make that motion, Mr. Chair.
Aye.
Senator Freinberg.
Yes.
Senator Hofstrauss. Senator Heitzman.
Aye.
Representative Davis.
Aye.
Representative Igo.
I go aye.
Representative Scrava.
Aye.
Representative Warlock.
Aye.
That's 7 yeses, 1 excuse.
All right, with that, resolution 26-016 passes. And we will move on to number 26-017. Trevon, whenever you're ready.
Chair, members of the board, today before you is a project to be funded of the Iron Range Higher Education account. The purpose of the Iron Range Higher Education Committee is to advise the commissioner on providing higher education programs to the service area. This fund is funded from 5 cents of the taconite production tax that is placed into the Iron Range Higher Ed account. Upon approval by the Iron Range Higher Ed Committee and recommendation of the board, the commissioner approves expenditures out of this account. The Iron Range Higher Education Committee met on January 12th, 2026 to receive updates from Minnesota North College and consider proposed investments. The Iron Range Higher Ed Committee approved the following expenditure from the Iron Range Higher Ed account. $725,000 in funding to support lab and classroom space at the Forge Technical Training Center in Grand Rapids. Minnesota College North will enter into a long-term lease agreement with Itasca Economic Development Corporation, IEDC, to establish a technical training center for manufacturing and welding technology training programs at the Forge. Having training directly located on the West Range is important because manufacturing and welding jobs are in strong demand regionally and statewide. Manufacturing has a planned growth of over 11,000 jobs in Minnesota from 2022 to 2032. Machinists are predicted to realize 9.3% increase in job openings in northeastern Minnesota between 2022 and 2032. And manufacturing accounts for 6.6% of the employment in the region, making it the sixth largest industry. The new location will strengthen the workforce pipeline from high school to college to career on the Western Iron Range and diminish the need for students to leave the area for college level training elsewhere. This location will offer work-based learning opportunities where students receive firsthand experiences that translate to employable skills post-graduation. It will offer summer internships over 2 rotations with manufacturing businesses in the region who will host students, and it will develop a critical mass of trained and skilled employees available to local businesses and manufacturers. The site on the West Range is important because Minnesota College North currently serves the region in heavy industrial technical training, primarily from the Eveleth and Hibbing campuses, requiring time and travel for Grand Rapids area students to access. The Itasca campus currently lacks infrastructure needed for technical training. To meet strong demand for technical training in Grand Rapids, the college has partnered with IEDC for the past 2 years to rent space at the Forge and offer entry-level welding and programming. The Forge is unique as it's an approved as a higher learning commission additional location, allowing Minnesota North to offer curriculum there. Minnesota North College President Mike Ryach is available if there are any questions, and I would be happy to help as well.
All right, are there any questions or comments? Bring them up.
Mr. Chair, I would just like to acknowledge again the late great Roy Smith. I think he'd be very proud of this.
It looks like Representative Igo has his hand up.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to give a hat tip to everyone that was involved, kind of bringing this project to us and to the higher ed board. There was a lot of partnerships across the Itasca County, through the college, through the community, through the local banks, through IEDC, to kind of find an avenue to bring this project to reality and get us to the point we're at today. So very happy that it's in front of the board, and just again, a hat tip to everyone involved. This is a really good move.
Thank you, Representative Orwas.
Yeah, I had the privilege of spending some time over at the Forge a couple of years ago, just got to check it out, and it wasn't part of this program yet, but it's a really impressive facility. It's small, but it has a lot of potential. And as a person who makes his living welding and fabricating, was doing it yesterday, I'll be doing it tomorrow. I spent time in Minnesota North back before it was called that. In that very training, I have a son there doing the same training now. But we're on this side of the range, what I call the central range, or maybe closer to the east range. But getting these resources over to the west range, keeping more of that training in the region for these kids on that side, little kids and non-traditional students on that side of the range, I can see that as being critical, not having to export that training to other parts of Minnesota. I really like it.
Representative Scrabble.
To echo that, and Representative Davis, we toured it last spring. I mean, it wasn't that long ago, and Roy was pretty excited about it, and we all sat in there and we're working on it. And we're a group of eclectic people, and Roy wasn't sure where we were gonna land. I mean, he had no idea. He was like, oh, we'll see what happens. And when we all walked out of there going like this, it was like, okay, you did your job. You got us to all see it, and it's a good project. I don't know if it's small, but it's pretty cool, the stuff they're doing there, and the technology and the way the community and the private business and the college and the nonprofits are all working together. It's something we're gonna have to start doing more of if we're gonna make it work with the population we have. So when it came before our board, it wasn't that difficult to, we vetted it, some looked at it, but I'm happy it's here and hoping it passes.
Thank you, Representative Scrabble. Any other comments?
We did not have a quorum that day.
Correct. We did not. I think there was only 3 of us there. Thank you for pointing that out. The main three. All right, with that, see, 26-317. Do we have a motion? So Representative Davis moves resolution 26-017. Sarah, please take the roll.
Senator Champion,
Aye.
Senator Farnsworth,
Yes.
Senator Rothschild. Senator Heinzman,
Aye.
Representative Davis,
Aye.
Representative Igo,
I go aye.
Representative Scrava,
Aye.
Representative Warlock.
With.
It is 7 yeses, 1 excuse.
All right, with that, resolution 26-017 is passed. Moving on to number 26-018, Mr. Isbell, whenever you're ready.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, we have one grant amendment, fiscal year 26. Public Works for the city of Tower. The request is for $350,000. Total project investment, $11,484,999. The original project approval. At a previous board meeting, the project consisted of temporary water, sewer, and electric utility placement for the development of 6 newly constructed sustainable homes. The single-family homes feature 2 or 3 bedrooms and are suitable for permanent homestead or short-term rentals. The homes were phase 1 of a larger development project situated on the East 2 River. IRRR previously approved the $482,000 for the project in February 2025. And then an additional $566,000 in May of 25 to enable the public infrastructure to become permanent. So it was the Tindy homes are what they're referred to. They were under construction and there were no utilities to the site. And so initially it was, let's get some temporary utilities, get some water on the site, get some holding tanks for sewer. And that was the $482,000. And then a developer came forward and was working with the city regarding the harbor development, which this has been an ongoing project for the city and the Tower EDA for years to get the Tower Harbor developed. And so rather than put in $482,000 in investment in infrastructure that would only be temporary, a lot would have to be torn back out. We decided to bring to the board to up that dollar amount to get a permanent infrastructure that would also run through the harbor site, so it would serve both developments. This grant increase will help support unanticipated soil corrections for the larger harbor development, which includes construction of 14 townhomes, 14 condominium style apartments, and 7,500 square feet of commercial space. So that $350,000 increase would put our total investment for infrastructure at about the $1.4 million mark on an $1.5 million investment on new homes, townhomes, apartments. The city did accept the bids at their most recent council meeting. So Hoover Construction was awarded the construction for all this infrastructure to be put in place for both developments. So they are ready to move as soon as the snow melts. And the developers also upped their investment on the project or what they were putting in privately when the soil correction costs came in to help still make this project move forward. So I'll entertain any questions at this time.
Are there any questions? Yeah, Representative Scott.
Maybe the mayor.
I said he was gonna have to talk.
Man, I know. We just replaced the sewer and upgraded your water, correct?
The water project, yeah, water treatment plant, help fund, we're 98% done with that project, it's in. Up and running, we've had great results, we're on budget and time with that project. And we're moving to the wastewater on that for the RIP project, right now, we plan on going out for bids in March on that piece of the project.
And if state bonding, we tried to get some money for this too, but the reason I bring it up is. If anyone is ever interested in moving to a very progressive community right now. They're getting their ducks in a row, it's really something to watch, to be part of. Again, being from Ely, watching what we do and then watching Tower take the reins with a myriad of other issues. Pounding at them, they still can keep this thing focused straight, and it's really, and when this harbor project gets finally done. It's gonna be a good place, so if anyone's looking there, we've got a good spot to go there. Thank you.
Other questions? Okay, I do have, I think, one, so if I'm doing the math right. The original project was 6, and then the increase in 14 townhomes, 14 condominiums, so you're looking at 34 housing units plus a 7,500 square foot commercial space, is that correct?
That is all correct.
And that, I mean, that's a lot.
We anticipate, Mr. Chair, we anticipate some additional public works funding that'll need to be vested by our agency. What you're seeing is a portion of what's going to be built out, construction to start as soon as the snow melts, even on the actual structures. 6 of the Tindy homes are already under construction or have been constructed. But there will need to be some additional investment with other townhomes going up on that site. Phase 2, we call it, with some curb and gutter and some road going through. So there'll be some additional investment, nothing that comes close to the $1.4 million, but there will be some request as this continues to develop and the construction moves forward. We'll call this phase 1.
Yeah, well, and my thought is that for 34 housing units plus a commercial space, that already justifies the investment from the agency, but is there a possibility that with what's going in, that there could even be more development connected to that?
Yeah, to both of these sites.
Okay.
We anticipate both of these sites. I mean, the Tindy site, these homes are being put up for sale. So depending on the marketability of them selling, yeah, there is a lot of land that they have ownership of, that they have plans to call it phase 2 and expand out. And I don't want to give numbers to put hopes or dreams out there, but it would be extensive in number, but it would far exceed the 6 that we're talking about here. And then on the harbor site, again, this is being phased with the apartment building being built out first, and some of the townhomes, and then phase 2 will be additional townhomes, but we'll need to get like a driveway, curb cut, or some things in there. Yeah. In terms of our investment, where homes are actually going to be built, development agreements are signed, and people are putting their money out there. This is real.
With that, Representative Scaraba moves. Number 26-018. Sarah, please take the roll.
Senator Champion,
Aye.
Senator Farnsworth,
Yes.
Senator Boswell. Senator Heiston,
Yes.
Representative Davis,
Aye.
Representative Igo,
Aye.
Representative Scrabble,
Aye.
Representative Warboss.
Aye.
That is 7 yeses, 1 excuse.
Okay, with that, resolution 26-018 is passed. Moving on to resolution 26-019, Mr. Rilon. Whenever you're ready.
All right, Chair, members of the board, last but not least, the University of Minnesota's Natural Resources Research Institute, NRRI, is seeking $37 million from the Department of Energy for a grant to significantly expand its capabilities, facilities, equipment, and employment at NRI's research site in Coleraine, Minnesota, by establishing NRI as one of 4 national Line of the Future technology proving grounds. NRI is requesting up to $2 million in IRRR grant funding from the Douglas J. Johnson Economic Protection Trust Fund Corpus to help cover part of the 20% cost share required by the Department of Energy grant. Industry partners and the University of Minnesota have pledged similar amounts of funding. Up to 40 new jobs will be created at NRI's Bullering facility. The DJJ Corpus is authorized to fund projects and programs that create and sustain productive, permanent, and skilled jobs and promote economic diversification within the TAA. Any IRRR funding would be contingent on the DOE, Department of Energy, Mine of the Future Proving Ground Initiative grant being awarded. The NRI Mine of the Future Proving Ground will create an integrated test bed partnered across industry, national laboratories, academia, and communities to accelerate and de-risk mining technologies to facilitate faster adoption rates. It will provide domestic access to raw materials, bench to pilot scale platforms, AI-based data gathering and process control, and advanced environmental monitoring frameworks necessary to accelerate technology innovation and deployment. This proposal also features cutting-edge research on electrochemical and dry mineral processing, which can help eliminate or reduce potential demand and discharge risks associated with incumbent water-based methods. The proposed proving ground will address domestic iron, critical mineral, and materials challenges, including technology infrastructure, energy, water, and chemical reagent reduction, byproduct recovery, mine development timelines, and changing workforce demands. With that, NRI representatives Rolf Lieberg, the executive director, and Joel Hoffman, the director of research, are here to provide comments and answer any questions.
Whitney, Commissioner Rubina, Chair Farnsworth, board members, I'd just like to add to Whitney's comments with starting with a thank you. Thank you for the partnership. I think what we're doing today is talking about highlighting the challenge from the Minnesota legislature as well as the board to have NRI magnify the investments you make and bring federal investment and new opportunity to our communities. Our excitement in talking about this is tempered by the comments Commissioner made about the challenges the area has. And it's all that more important to be making these investments in this region. The challenge of the proving ground is really focused on, as Whitney laid out, is critical minerals and critical materials that bring the opportunities here to this part of the state, but does not take our eyes off of the iron opportunities here. It answers the fact that Minnesota's location is very, very unique. It leverages NRI's unique strengths and couples it with the national laboratories to bring that kind of investment here. But it's also consistent with the mighty framework that we've talked about for a while now, which is the Midwest Industrial Innovation and Transformation Initiative. It's all part of the same framework that we're talking about. So we're very excited to be able to bring this forward. But I'm even more excited to introduce the gentleman sitting next to me is Joel Hoffman. He's all of 4 months old here at NRI as the director of research. He's also the architect of what's sitting in front of you. And I want to give him an opportunity to make a few comments about the proposal.
Joel. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, board members. It's really a pleasure to be here with you today. This is, of course, my first time before IRRR. It's really quite a pleasure. We're particularly talking about this. And I think one of the things that we as a team, as developing this idea, we're challenged by is thinking about what is a proving ground. And what does a proving ground mean as an opportunity for the Iron Range and for Minnesota? And I think it's also worth thinking about what it's not. The proving ground is not building a new mine. Be clear. It's also not a project or test bed to predetermine development outcomes. It's a test bed that is used to bring new processes, new technologies, new ideas, new ores to test and bring them to market faster than we're doing today. And by doing that, grow our economy. It's also not designed to bypass community or tribal engagement. It's a collaboration. What it really is, a proving ground is an R&D test bed. And what we're proposing is focused on, first and foremost, advanced mineral processing. And I mean that in a comprehensive way, both ferrous and non-ferrous minerals, both of which are abundant resources in Minnesota. It's a test bed that's focused on enhanced recovery to make better use of the minerals that we have, and also improved material recycling. It's a test bed focused on community-based environmental monitoring, bringing forward really what I would call an advanced framework using real-time sensors so that we can bring on new technologies and understand what they're doing in real time as part of that technology advancement and as part of that technology rapid adaptation. It's also a proving ground that can support training and tech development. It's a hub to build a future workforce and an opportunity to de-risk and accelerate adaptation of new technologies. That's what the proving ground is about. And perhaps most of all, it's a collaborative platform. It's a chance to bring together industry, our national lab partners, universities, communities, tribal nations, and our government partners as part of a holistic approach to understand how we go forward and build the mine of the future. The proposal that you have in front of you outlines in greater detail. We're happy to answer questions, but I think this really represents, as a proving ground, a unique opportunity to advance our mineral processing capability, but grow many sectors of the economy at the same time as we build out in a holistic way this mine of the future. Thank you.
Representative Stroud, praise the Lord. Finally, this is the next step that we all have been complaining of. Pretty too long, and we're all complaining, but nothing's happened. Now we have an opportunity to take this and say, why isn't it happening? How can we streamline it? We know we have the minerals. We know we have the capability, the brain power to do this. Let's set something in motion, and this is hitting. This is, for me, this is like fine. And you know, with the help, if we put 2 million in and we get hope. I mean, if the national laboratory looked at us and said, hey, you know, maybe this is a place for a national laboratory. Now we're in the stratosphere, because now we got all kinds of great jobs, great technology. And this morning I was on a call with a very informed group of environmentalists, and you know, drilling us about mining. And I've always been steadfast about, I support the mining for the jobs, that's good. But what really gets my juices going is the fact that the minerals in the ground, when they come out, we will do something with them that will change the trajectory of our nation and our world. I mean, I truly believe that. So finally, if we could get someone to say, yeah, if you take this mineral out of the ground, this is what you're gonna get. Not so much the mineral, but this is the way you're gonna leave the earth. We can fix it. It won't be degradation. It won't be like this morning's permanent degradation. Like, I've never seen permanent degradation. I've watched the boundary waters being poked, prodded, and logged, and yet everyone still calls it this beautiful, pristine area, and the whole thing's been logged off. So again, I think if we use technology and what we're doing here, it goes into the direction that I sure would like to see our nation and our state go. Thank you.
Representative Stroud, other comments? Yeah, I'll, the first 3 words coming out of his, words right out of this pastor's mouth.
Yeah.
I just want to say verbalize thank you so much for your guys' work and your efforts, and you've been at it for a long time. So thank you.
Representative Walls.
Well, as a person who was, you know, I'll say it again, as I often do, 3rd generation in mining, you know, from my grandfather working in natural ore to my father and I working in taconite mining industry, to witnessing the region shrink in some ways and grow in others, but always coming up against some kind of blip, some kind of wall where we're just not getting any further. And I feel like when you say the words mine of the future, really striking at the heart of what the Iron Range really needs. And so I know Rolf and I have talked about this over the phone and in person. And I was at I think I was at the last Mighty presentation in Virginia. I've been talking with the gentleman that I met there about dry processing of these ores as well, which has been very stimulating. But basically preaching, to your point, been preaching for years about the need to develop these minerals. And they are here. And that's why we are here. These minerals are here. We keep finding more and more good things, but we need to have ways to develop them. And we really, the reality is we have something to be proud of here. And in this country, we put a man on the moon. If we can do that, we should be able to mine these minerals safely and process them well. And I look forward to what comes out of this investment.
Any other comments? Okay, I will try and ask all of my questions at once. So, of course, we're an economic development agency, and so the possibility of going from 40 to 80 jobs, specifically in my district, is fantastic. So part one of the question is, what types of jobs do you envision those being? And then I had another question and I forgot, so as you're answering that, I'll hopefully remember in part two of my question, so we'll start with that one.
Sure. Thanks for the question, Chair Farnsworth. Those 40 jobs that we were speaking of, immediately, if we get this kind of funding, we're going to have to double the number of key researchers right off the bat. And these are metallurgists, geometallurgists that really can translate what it is into what it can be. To support that, we're going to have research support technicians that can work directly with those individuals. To support that, we're going to have to expand our wage roll operator corps to be able to operate the machinery that's going to be installed as a result of these changes. So that's just at NRI. And the other piece of what as Joel was indicating, a proving ground invites other people to come in and use that facility to demonstrate equipment, demonstrate next generation technologies. We're going to have other jobs that come in and put in new power lines. We're going to need new infrastructure, and that's jobs beyond NRI because we don't do that work. And so I think when that 40 is put out there, that's what we would hire in your district for the lab itself, but there will be other peripheral investment as well. So
Yeah, that answers my question. I can't remember the other question that I had, but I mean, we've invested a lot more money for a lot fewer jobs than this, and so I think this is exciting. And I mean, if you look at, Minnesota, there was a time where they were saying, the Iron Range is running out of ore, and days are numbered for the Iron Range, and then the University of Minnesota did some research and they discovered, hey, we can make these taconite pellets. And you have times in the 1970s and early 1980s where there wasn't enough housing and there wasn't enough room in our schools. And so I look forward to the work that you do to open up opportunities like that again, that the Iron Range can again, where people are, from other parts of the state or country are saying, the Iron Range is dying. No, it's not. We've proven time and again that we're going to rebound, and we're going to rebound again. And we're making the investments to do that. And I'm pretty excited about that. So thank you for your work and your passion. Like anybody that's talked to Rolf knows he's the most passionate about this topic. I don't understand what he's saying. I know that he's passionate, so that's probably a good thing. So with that, who would like to move this? I will. All right, Representative Scraba moves. What number are we on here? 26-019. Sarah, please take the roll.
Senator Champion,
Aye.
Senator Farnsworth,
Yes.
Senator Hochschild, Senator Heinzman,
Yes.
Representative Davis,
Aye.
Representative Weigel,
I go aye.
On the beach.
Representative Scraba,
Aye.
Representative Warwick. That is 7 yeses, 1 excused.
All right, with that, number 26-019 is passed. We're on number 11. Other Any members of the board have any other comments, questions before we adjourn?
I just want to comment on this last, our last thing. Says the University of Minnesota is gonna have to, we have something also. And I hope they see that we're investing in it and that they will also, the Board of Regents. And get themselves in line for what we get, and that's it, the core library, that's another subject. Yeah.
Should. No, I've got a comment. I'll tell you what, I'll talk about this all the time and people get tired of it. But the work we do here and those good investments that we make. Again, and it's obvious to all of you that work here and do these things, but to the people, out there in on the internet and wherever else. These monies come to us because of money. And this morning I was reading books to kids at the Mountain Iron Buell School. Mountain Iron, where mining was founded on the Iron Range, basically. And those kids feel the blast from Mintac. And the teacher introduces me and says, "Hey, have you kids heard of Mintac? This guy works over at Mintac." And the hands shoot up in the room, those little tiny kids from kindergarten all the way through fourth grade, because their moms and their dads and their aunts and uncles and brothers and sisters are working out of Mintac and our other mines. And it really got to me that this area is supported so very heavily, classroom after classroom, wave after wave, with those little hands coming up. And that is supporting this entire region. And mine of the future, may it be, and iron mining and our policies that support these things are so very important. I just like to remind people that, they may say I took a job at the hospital or the school because I don't want to have a mining affected job. Those jobs also largely wouldn't exist in this region without mining. So I just want to remind everybody, get out there, support mining in any way that you can, because all of these good things come to us because of in this region. Can't say anything better than that. So with that, we are adjourned.